All right, well, today is August 20th, 2018. This is a part two update for today, Monday. Right now at 10 p.m., we have a temperature of 70 degrees here in the foothills of Los Angeles. The relative humidity is 74%. The dew point is 61 degrees currently, and the barometer is sitting at 29.90 inches. All right, so today we had very heavy chemical aerosol spraying. Which I documented in the previous video today. And that was because of a very large moisture field moving into Southern California. Let's go ahead and take a look at that right now here in the western U.S. water vapor map. We can see monsoonal moisture here wrapping in a clockwise manner around into California. Now, this morning we had the same. This is basically a rerun of what we saw happening this morning. This giant supercell developed. And then as it started to wrap around and get into California, they blew it apart. That's what's happening here. We'll see this sequence unfold. But what happens is that this giant cell will be blown apart, superheated, and the residual moisture will then spin into California as pockets of moisture, like what we're seeing right here. So all this moisture was moving in today into Los Angeles right there. And this would have brought rain. Under normal operating conditions, this moisture would have brought cooler, damp conditions to the south, the Southern California area, and also here in Arizona. If we look at the Doppler here real quick, we can see that there's really nothing going on except down here where this giant cell is forming. We can see a little bit of rain down here in the southern part of Arizona, nothing in California. And so that's the situation. We should be having some kind of rain from all this moisture moving in. But that's not happening. All right, so let's go back and take a look here at the hurricane map. And by the way, we're going to see more chemtrail spraying tomorrow as this cycle continues. We have a high pressure causing this clockwise rotation here over the southwest. And as this moisture here is broken apart, we can already see a blast pattern. Let's go and look at the southwest map. Right here we can see the right side of this is already blowing out. This giant cell. We can see the blast pattern right on the very last frames here on the east and the west side. So when this is broken apart and the moisture will scatter and will move into California like we're seeing right here, and that is what is causing what's happening is that the specially equipped jets have been dispatched to spray over this moisture to prevent any chances of precipitation. All right, let's go back to the big map, or rather the hurricane map. Here we can see that Hurricane Lane is back up to a Category 4 status with 130 mile per hour sustained winds. Pressure has dropped slightly to 964 millibar. And moving west, due west at 12 miles per hour. Now, this hurricane is forecast to actually move to the northwest and skirt possibly get fairly close to the Big Island, and it could run right over Kauai or any one of these islands as a major hurricane. Now, I don't think that the weather controllers are going to allow a Category 4 storm to get this close to any one of these islands. Once again, I think that a show is being put on for the viewing public on all of the mainstream weather channels. Hawaii is the home of the U.S. Pacific Fleet. There are many other military assets out there, antennas, uplinks and downlinks. Very important strategic area right here. And so what we see here is a lane right here moving west. We can see the blast pattern occurring right off the northwest edge of that hurricane. But look what's happening right here, just west of the island of Kauai. Right here, we have another low pressure system right here trying to develop, but we see a right angle, sort of a straight edge, a couple of straight edges right here. And so the weather controllers are doing what they can to prevent this system from spooling up, as this hurricane, this westbound hurricane, could possibly merge with this system here, but that won't be allowed to happen. If we look here at the infrared map, we can see the what's happening here. There's quite a bit of moisture right here wrapping around that vortex, but this manipulation occurring on the vortex is preventing. We can see what's happening here. This moisture is not wrapping around. It's instead peeling away. And that's what happens. These transmitters prevent this moisture from wrapping back around into the vortex of the developing low. Now let's look at some of these other maps. We have the Northeast Pacific water vapor loop. We can see a lane right here with an eye wall. We can see the blast pattern. Also, we see moisture right here streaming up towards California. We've got a very large area right here forming, a high pressure area. We've got a low right here. This is a dry upper level low, which is completely isolated. Notice the counterclockwise rotation right there. And the bows in the water vapor, the pattern there. We've got a bow here and right here as well. So none of this moisture is being allowed to get into that low pressure area. That is being completely squashed. And in the meantime, the moisture that would normally be wrapping around this low is streaming into California. So we're going to see a lot more chemtrail spraying tomorrow. That's for sure. We had some very, very heavy spraying. I have a headache as a result of that. And within a few days, I'm sure that most of us here in Southern California will feel the same effects. Headaches, possibly swollen glands, sore throat, and all that. And that's because these aerosols are toxic. They contain aluminum and many other toxic compounds. All right, so here we have the infrared map. We can see the high wall on that hurricane. Let's get rid of that dead frame right there. Okay. So now that we're looking, here we go. We have lane right here with a blast pattern. This system is being targeted, but it's been allowed to re-intensify. It was down to Category 3 status last night. So we're going to keep an eye on this storm here in over the next few hours and see what happens, because it is possible these terrorists could run this right over the islands. These people are connected with the U.S. government. There's a Wall Street apparatus in place for gambling. You can bet on weather derivatives and weather options. The Chicago Climate Exchange, which is based in Chicago, has been allowing betting on the weather since about 1997, which coincidentally, I don't believe it's a coincidence, but it happens to also be the time that I started noticing the chemtrail spraying going on in the southwest U.S. in the Southern California area. We started noticing the chemtrail spraying in about 1997, and also we were getting sick fairly often. A lot of colds and just generally, I get sick. I used to get sick maybe once a year, but since these chemtrails have been sprayed, everybody's getting sick a lot more often. We're seeing an explosion in Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease cases because, and I believe because of the off the charts amounts of aluminum that are being sprayed into the skies. There are, if you look on the not the playlist, but I have a link to J. Marvin Herndon's website, which documents in detail the ingredients, the compounds, and found in these chemtrail aerosols. So those guys put a HEPA air filter outdoors for about 2 weeks and ran it, and then took the filter and cut it up, took the particulate matter to a lab and had it tested, and all that information is on his website, J. Marvin Herndon, I believe it is, Herndon, last name, which is on my channel. If you flip through the subs, I have one subscription, which is his channel. All right, let's take a look next at the western U.S. water vapor loop. We can see that upper level low pressure right here, which is being completely squashed. And we see the moisture right here streaming towards California. and of course this activity right here. So we're going to watch this over the next few hours. This will implode and it'll break apart, and we'll see a lot more moisture heading into California. And we have a no rain forecast, and of course that means the jets will continue to spray. That will cause the capping inversion layer, preventing the lift in the atmosphere that we need for precipitation. We have to have two components for rain, precipitation. A is lift in the atmosphere, and B is moisture. So we've got the moisture, but the lift is being stopped by these terrorists controlling our weather. And this is a gambling racket. And I believe that the weather manipulation is tied directly to that. It's highly likely that the left, which has infiltrated and corrupted our judicial system, and the DOJ is involved in this. That's my hunch. It's not a personal attack against anybody on the left watching these videos. I'm an independent, and I recently voted for Trump. That's not a crime. But the fact is that if this group of people was Republican, and if they were involved in this, I would be calling them out as well. But I believe it's part of the deep state. And of course, there are both left and right involved in the deep state. But the FBI is corrupted to the core. And those people should be finding out what's going on here. Because CO2 is not causing the manipulation we're seeing on these developing thunderheads, these cumulonimbus, these thunderstorm developments that we're seeing here that are being systematically targeted and squashed. CO2 has nothing to do with that. This blast pattern right here, this hurricane is being superheated, and the resulting pressure wave is causing this blast pattern here. This is probably caused by laser or microwave based in space, satellite-based transmitters. So once again, we'll keep an eye on things, and we'll leave it right here, and we'll do another update soon. That's it.